Hi everyone, my name is Nina. Today I wanted to make a video sharing my experience as a UCSD student. I am a transfer, so I transferred here 2 years ago, and yesterday I started my first day of winter quarter, and I thought right now would be a really good time to make this video because I know people just applied to UCSD and they probably want to know what my experience was like, so when the time does come they can decide if they want to come here or not. So today I'm just going to be talking about my experience, what I went through, the people I met, the things I did, and yeah, let's get started. As a disclaimer, I just wanted to put out there that everyone's experience is different. I feel like going to UCSD or any UCs, there's really no one experience. I know people say oh, the college experience, but everyone's experience is different. Because we all do different things, we all take different classes, we all meet different people, and that kind of makes our experience, sorry, I'm saying experience way too much. It makes it all different, and that's what I want to say. So my experience might not be the same as yours, or don't take what I say into consideration. I know a lot of people don't want to come to UCSD because it's socially dead. I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people might think that because maybe there's no sorority or frat houses or no football games, but I don't think that's true. I feel like that is, I don't know, it's different here, but I'm gonna share my experience so then you guys can know what is going on. So yeah, so I'm gonna start off with my first quarter here, which was summer session 2, and it was August 2021. I decided to take a summer class because I couldn't wait to move in. I wanted to take classes right away. Didn't want to live at home anymore. I moved in to the new 6 college, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I was really lucky because my boyfriend already goes to UCSD, so when I came, I already had someone I knew, and then I was able to make friends through him. But one of the greatest things that happened to me was I became friends with my roommates, or my suite mates, because that time COVID was COVID was still around. We had to mask. We all had single rooms, which was a blessing. But I was really lucky to become friends with this my suite mate, and then through that we just spent the whole summer together, going out, taking classes, going to the beach, and it was just one of the best experience of my life. We took the bus everywhere. We went to the beach. We shared secrets. We bonded. It was honestly it was the peak of college. I felt and also because I had my boyfriend there, so I was never really alone, which was amazing because I got to go out, I got to explore UCSD. I really like taking the bus because I've never taken public transportation before except train. But I really like taking the bus here in San Diego. It's very clean, it's very nice, it's very new, and a lot of students take the bus, so I never feel unsafe. And yeah, that was my first summer. That was my first real taste of UCSD. I'm thirsty. So after summer, I moved into my fall dorm, and it was in 7th college, and I lived with 5 other girls, and they are the best people on earth. I thank all my lucky stars that I had every single one of them. I got to live with every single one of them because they are amazing people. They were the best roommates. They were so nice, so open-minded. We never really had problems. We did, obviously, because we're girls living together, but most of the time we all just got along, and we hung out almost every day. We shared our secrets, and it was just a very comfortable environment and something I would never exchange. And to this day, I will always look back and be like, wow, I was living the life last year. I was living my best life. I had the best people around me, and I would never exchange this experience. And they honestly made my experience at UCSD a lot better. I had people to go with to events. I had someone to confide in. I was always having I always had someone to talk to, and even if I was feeling down and I didn't want to talk to anyone, I would isolate myself. I was really lucky to have someone available, or someone who's kind of they wouldn't pry into my life, obviously, but they were there. They would just be in the living room. They'd be like, hey, what's up, and it was just really nice. I was never alone. And I think a lot of it hit me really hard when the year ended. I just fell into a depression, but honestly, it was because so many things were changing, and that's why I fell into this pit. I felt I hit rock bottom because we were all moving out and we all lived in different cities. So yeah, but I had a really amazing time. So if you are moving into the dorms, be friends with your roommates, you know, just like put yourself out there. And it honestly can just be like sitting in the living room because people are gonna come in and out of their rooms and you never know, they might join you and then that could like spark everything. From my experience, the first week of college, we literally like trauma dump and okay, like not like traumatic, like super, but we were just like telling like our lives and we honestly just clicked and that's what I don't know. I honestly miss it so much. I wish I can go back in time and relive it, but we can't. So that's something I will always cherish forever. I want to put a picture up here, but I don't know if like they'll want to be exposed. But just know that, you know, your roommates, always be friends with your roommates because you're gonna live with them and they will honestly make or break your college experience in my opinion. So just try to get along, be kind, clean up after yourself. And yeah, that was my fall living situation. Or no, that was my whole year last year living situation and I had a really good time. So I'm gonna continue like that aspect, but I'm gonna move on from it. So making friends was really hard for me. I feel like I didn't really put myself out there. I did join a club, but then winter quarter went online, like fully remote. And then so this club that I was in did have like online events, but to me, I was just not like intrigued by it, especially because fall quarter we were like meeting up every week and hanging out. Like I got a big, which I never thought I would like put myself out there to do. But it was really fun. Like that's something like I really cherish as well. But other than that, I really didn't commit myself to anything and that's why I did. I did join a club and it was church club and it was like my boyfriend was in it and then I kind of just tagged along and then there I met a lot of good people. Actually one that I live with right now. But yeah, I really cherish those moments too because we also went to Big Bear and we had like banquets and yeah, so I commit to one club. The other club I kind of dropped because it went online and I really didn't like feel like I don't know, it was just really hard. And that's something I kind of regret. So if you are new and you want to make friends, my only advice is to stick with something. Like just show up to that club every week, make a friend, stick with them, meet their friends, and then, you know, put yourself out there. Ask like, oh, do you want to get boba? Do you want to meet here? Or what classes are you taking? What major are you? And then you never know because you might end up living with them next year. You might end up being closer. Like you never really know. And that's like one advice I would stick with. As an introvert, I think I convinced myself a lot that I didn't really like need friends. Like I was comfortable with like the people I was living with, so I really didn't feel the need to like go out there and like make new friends, and that's something I regret. So never have that mentality like you don't need friends or you don't need to do this and that. Just put yourself out there. You never know who will come in your life. You never really, the people you least expect will always be like the people like you become closer with, is what I realized. Like the people I met last year, like we either didn't get along or we never really talked, but then at the end of the year we were like that. Like I don't really know like how that happens, but always keep an open mind because you never know like the people like you will most connect with is the people you don't think. So moving on from that, I'm gonna talk about the academic life. So to begin with, I changed my major. I think my first quarter here, I was a human development major, and then I met people and I was like, I don't think I want to like do what I'm majoring in. Like I don't know what career that would like lead me into. And that's honestly one of the great things about like going to a college and like moving out is that you meet people and then you hear about their life and that kind of inspires you. So I actually switched over to cognitive science, specializing in design and interaction. And honestly, it's been a whirlwind. I really like it because it's challenging. I really like the career opportunities that come after graduating. And I think that's one of the things why I changed. And I met so many amazing people in that field. I didn't even know cognitive science and specializing in design was a major until I met someone here that majored in it. And I honestly didn't even know about the career opportunities out there. That like I've never heard of like UX design. I didn't really know how big the tech industry was until I came here, because everyone like I know is either CS, math, data science, whatever that whole like the STEM majors here at UCSD. So I didn't know that until I came here. To go back, academic life classes are doable. They're not as hard. I thought UCSD classes were gonna be like so hard, difficult, like you're gonna have to study and like the tests are extremely hard. No. But I honestly can't talk about like the other majors because I'm a cog sci design. I feel like computer science, data science, and all that other jazz, you're gonna have to find a different video because I've seen people like the work ethic and how like it's super hard. And honest, I can't really say anything on that, so I'm gonna stop. Now I'm gonna talk about like my experience, my own experience at UCSD, and like some of the things I struggled with. And one of them would be probably my career. Like I went to a spiral a little, like I think my like last winter quarter and spring quarter, like I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Everyone around me seemed like they knew what they were gonna do, and that's something like the atmosphere at UCSD. For me, I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I also felt like imposter syndrome, like what am I doing here? Like I don't deserve to be here. Like I feel like I got in because I was lucky, and that's really not the case. Like now I know like it's not the case. Like I worked really hard to get here, but I feel like when I don't know exactly what I want to do, that kind of like creates like I went into like a spiral. Like I was looking at every option and like what can I do if this doesn't work out? What can I do if that doesn't work out? And I think that's where I struggled because I wasn't committing myself to one thing, and then I was not sure of myself because I feel like I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. So I took a lot of time like reflecting and talking to people and going to like events and being like, okay, like can I see myself here? But I think because in college everything is kind of happening so fast, like midterms are literally like they start week 3 or they start week 5, and then before you know it, it's finals, and then before you know it, it's summer, and like I don't have an internship, and all my friends are moving and they're like moving at a quicker like pace than me, and I'm kind of like, okay, I like did not move. Like all I did was take classes and I didn't really put myself out there. And I think I really like spiraled into depression because I would just stay in my room, contemplate what I wanted to do, and then because I couldn't figure it out, I would just be really sad and feel like I wasn't like my self-esteem really took a toll last year. Luckily, I had a really good support system with the people I lived with, and I really appreciate and I miss them so much. But I think that's like one of the things that I went through. And uncertainty, I learned, is just a part of life. You know, being like in your 20s, it's okay to like not know what you want to do or do like a million things and fail. But that's okay because, you know, that's where we learn about ourselves. And I'm still learning this lesson to this day, like just taking things one day at a time and just, you know, not taking things too seriously. Like I think I disregard being a full-time student as something, you know, like it takes all my energy, and like I feel like I should be doing like a lot of things outside of school, but I feel like I need to take into consideration that being a full-time student is hard. That's what I went through, and it took me a long time to get myself out of there because I felt like everyone around me was just so successful and I needed to do stuff like them. Piggyback right off of that, I feel like the environment here at UCSD is like it's tense. Everyone is super hardworking, which is amazing because that kind of motivates me to like work harder. But it's definitely like it gets intense. Everyone's studying, everyone's doing their own thing, everyone's, you know, everyone's moving at like a different like speed. Everyone is like in different parts of their lives, and it's really hard sometimes to not like compare yourself, but that's just how it is sometimes. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is why San Diego. So if you are like deciding like which college to go to, I will convince you to come to San Diego, and there are many reasons why. We have the beach, and it's walking distance depending on where you are on campus. I wonder if I could put like a picture of like the campus, but we have this place called Gliderport, and it's like iconic for like paragliding, I think what it's called. Like people will like, it's like the parachute, is that paragliding? I don't know, but I never been on it. We have a beach, we have a nudes a nude beach. So basically it's glider port, but if you go down and like, I will have to warn you, they're nude. People are nude. It's an experience though. We have really good dining hall food. I love the food. If you live in the New Six College, amazing food. Breakfast burritos, ramen, poke, carne asada bowls, like Chipotle bowls. And we have like an app where like you can like order the food and then go pick it up. I don't know if other UCs have that. We also have COVID testing vending machines. I also heard other schools don't have that. We have podcasts, which I heard UCLA doesn't have, but like a professor, when they have class, it's like recorded and it goes on to like the podcast.ucsd.edu. I don't know if other schools have that. It's amazing. Sometimes you don't have to go to class, you can watch the podcast. I love that. We have a really pretty campus, Geisel Library. Not the prettiest in the inside, but iconic. It's like didn't know that, but I mean I didn't know this, but it's Dr. Seuss who made it. And in the library there's a cafe called Audrey's Cafe, and that's his wife's name. Didn't know that. There's also a statue of him outside. We have a Target on campus. What? I love that. I love Target. I used to work there, loved it. And yeah, there's so many reasons. We also have downtown San Diego, which is really fun. The nightlife is nice. We also have a trolley that takes you to, like, it could take you anywhere, like south. And like, for students, it's free. And I think that's so nice because the parking is atrocious. Not in the middle of nowhere. Like, we're in the city. We live in La Jolla. It's a really rich city. It's so nice. And yeah, I think that's it for the video. That's my personal experience and some things I wanted to say. I'm really sad this is like, I only have 2 quarters left and then I move home. But I just wanted to say, like, if you are waiting for acceptances, you know, think positive. Like, you never really know what schools you'll get into. I definitely got into more schools than I expected, and to keep an open mind because you never know like what schools, like what experience it will give you. And like, yeah, just to think positive because I know it's really stressful and it's really easy to like fall down into a spiral of like negativity and like negative thinking. But yeah, so 2 hours waiting out there for your acceptances as a transfer or as a high school student. Good luck.